skip music this time because I keep getting copyright claimed, even though the music I'm using is supposed to be copyright free. We'll have to just get by without. Get started here in just 1 minute. Microphone setup and all that. Just about going here. Can't see anything, AE. Should be up and running. Let me know if you can't see the dinosaurs, the crocodiles. Still blank. No as in you can't see them, or no as it's fine. Huh. That's odd. How about now? It's weird. I have not changed a single thing since last time. So it should just work fine. It may have been you. Okay, now you see. Awesome. Alright. Disaster averted. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna do a little bit more live streaming here starting this week. No loud workers down in the basement. They're working on stuff in the shop today. So I have the basement hobby cave to myself. Got the dinos here I was working on last time. This is a D&D creature. I keep forgetting its name. Every time I bring it up, someone tells me the name and then I instantly forget it. But that is a thing that is. So I printed it out quite a bit bigger than the original file, just because I've been doing that lately. You know, because you can. If you're going to print it big, you're going to print it, you might as well print it nice and big. Bullet! There you go. It sounds... Or bullet, or however it's phrased. And then I got the little gator warriors that I started working on last stream. Since then I've hit them with the varnish because they were flaking off paint for some reason. These prints were odd, but the primer just didn't want to stick, so I hit it with the matte varnish, and hopefully they will be fine for painting today. So it's kind of on the slate. I do have all the Battle Sisters primed. Grab one here quick. Do have all of these cool models primed, and it focuses. There you go. Probably paint them up later this week once we get the crocodiles down and ready to go. So is it still blank? I have it up on my phone and it's working. So it may just be you. I don't know. Sorry if it's not. We will have to move forward here. So last time, kind of shared what the plan was for these guys. We'll do detail work today because they've got all this kind of bling on their necks. Did kind of base coating for the weapon. The weapon itself is going to be, at least these two are going to be an obsidian. So right now they're a matte black, which doesn't really convey that effect very well, but I will hit it with a very dark purple on the edges, and then we'll do a gloss varnish over the top of just that part, and it will make them look very much like obsidian. Varnish must be working because I didn't lose any chips there. Alright. Should we risk it? Should we risk it with the Citadel brush today? My usual go-to brush is looking kind of rough, and I've washed it with the soap and it's still got those little bits of paint in it, so it's kind of on its way out. We'll try the Games Workshop brush today. See how it does. What are you working on today? Got a couple of skulls there. Let's see, which one of these guys should we start with? That one's kind of hard. See, this one's got a bunch of teeth on it, so let's do this one first. Excuse me. Bunch of things to do. Still got all the robot Legion Army stuff things to do. Presents for parents that printed out and gonna paint up to look like ancient Greek statuary. But so lots and lots of things to do. No shortage of tasks. I'm gonna bring the camera in closer here so we can actually show what I'm doing. So I'm gonna hit these teeth with the Wraith Bone, and then we'll go over it with the contrast paint, because honestly there's a few things easier to do than skeleton bone effect with the contrast paints. Is just awesome. So we'll do it because we do it, and it works. I have no idea. YouTube does not give very good information about if there's anyone actually here. So if you're here and you want to chat, feel free to let me know and we can talk. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk to myself until I bore myself, and then I'll stop. Basement remodel progress is hopefully moving forward. Contractor says they're in the shop today working on all of the cabinet doors. They're building the doors that will eventually line the bottom of the bookcases that we have installed. So hopefully those will go in by the end of the week. And we'll get the painter in here to do touch-up stuff. And then we'll be just about done. We'll just have minor stuff, a door in one of the bedrooms that needed to be flipped around, so you had to order a new door with the opposite direction. Because when you walk into a room, the door opened the wrong way, so you had to flip the direction there, and that required apparently a new door. I just do what they say. hopefully it'll get completely done in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Well, it's kind of surreal to say that here now after Thanksgiving for a job that really should have taken a couple of months and not 6 months. That's just how it is these days. It's important to count blessings and not stress too much about things that you can't control. Yeah, the brush is doing okay so far. Not too shabby so far. Usually about the 2-hour mark that the Games Workshop brush tends to have a little bit of trouble. But I have it, so might as well use it. Come on. It'd be nice to paint with some music, but even the ones that claim there are no copyright off Spotify, I'm still getting hit with copyright claims. So gonna have to not do that for a while, or ask around and find someone who's willing to share their name of a stream, because there's lots on there that claim to be no copyright, but I've tried several and have been hit almost every time. So hopefully I can find one that will work. Alright. Got some necklace done here. Get it going. Not too shabby. So if you're here, AE, what are you working on today? So you chuckled at your little Christmas paint over tweet. That was funny. Everybody wants a paint over for Christmas. That's just science. You can't deny the science. Looking good. Yeah, I love these guys. I think I might print off more of them in the future. Just nice to kind of a bulky character. It's cool. I have the start of a Seraphon army. These fellows would fit in with perfectly, but I do have to finish it. It's just one of the many projects that was started before the move, and then things got packed away so we could move, and it just never has yet to come back out, largely because I have no idea where the box is that has all of them in it. Lots of skinks and Saurus warriors that need to be finished. Got a bunch started, just need to be finished. Alright, so he's got leg. Bling here. He's got stuff on his shoulders, so we got quite a bit to do still on this guy. But it's all good. Love these models. I'm definitely a big fan. How's it going, Andre? Staying out of trouble? Yeah, I'm really digging the it's kind of a play on using the same trick with Zenithal, just doing it for the skin tones. So just hitting it from above with the airbrush with the red. Well, first painting it all yellow and then hitting it from the top of the red, so you have a nice smooth transition from yellow to red. So you get some oranges in there and everything. Good times. Helps the painter look more capable than he or she actually is. Good old Zenithal. Alright, there's one arm. It's got lots of bling. No. It's well decorated Croc Warrior. I guess if I were super on the ball, I'd have done all this base stuff off stream and have it all ready so we could get to the good stuff. But alas, there are other demands in life. If I could just sit down here and paint all day and all night, then that would be different. Get this base coated and we'll make this a little bit more colorful. You need some green on there. We'll definitely have to do some. I think these tags here are gonna have to be green. That way we get that red, yellow, green combo going, and that'll look pretty awesome. That'll fit with the kind of multicolor look for the rest of my Seraphon army. Dinosaur army. So we posted a meme the other day in one of the Discord channels talking about types of Necron players, and it hit home. Described a Necron player who has lots and lots of Necrons but hasn't really played with them or has never played with them, and that hit home because I have quite a few Necrons. I bought a bunch off of Craigslist a year or two ago. They're probably 1,500 points worth, and then I've added quite a few more over the following year and a half. But I have yet to play an official game with Necron, and so saw that one. I was like, hey, it's me. I feel seen. because I paint and model and do this a whole lot more than I actually get to play the game. So I get to play with my youngest son is getting into it, but he's only 7, so he's not really at the point now where we can do all the rules and all of that. So we kind of make up our own house rules for playing, and oftentimes just kind of playing pretend with the models, which is fun. But I'm kind of looking forward to when he's a little bit older and can start understanding the game and the rules. It'll be fun. My older son thinks it's fun. Just he doesn't have that board game bug that I do. He prefers video games most of the time. So would rather spend his time on VR and chatting with his friends in games than playing board games with his dad. And that's okay. Don't always have to like everything. Getting to be that teenager, a little bit more independent teenager thing going on. Now that he's got his own bedroom. Gets to spend time in there. That's okay. After spending 5 months sleeping on the couch without a bedroom, I think he's deserved a little bit of time. And bump the lamp. So if you're playing the drinking game at home, you have to drink. Yeah. He likes board games though, and so he's definitely got the same interest that I have. We play a lot of like kind of kids board games. There's one that's called Dragon Park that is meant for kids roughly that age or a little older, and he loves playing that. We play a lot of Mystic Market. So kind of we play a lot of kind of age 10 to 12 games, and he gets the rolls most of the time. Pretty sharp cookie. Yeah, I think in time, the older kid is into D&D, so he does the after school D&D club, and that's cool. So he's made some friends doing that, and I painted up a figure for him, and kind of gonna make the offer for any of his buddies who want their figures painted. I will tackle as well. So I'll just kind of encourage him to make friends in this new place, because we moved across the state, and he lost his friends, quote unquote. Though it's a little bit different these days with the electronics. They still keep in touch on Discord, and they're just not seeing each other as often because it's a 4-hour drive across the state. But it's helped to make new friends, and the few that I've met that have been over here and have been quite nice. So meeting good kids. You only heard about D&D in college. I had always heard about it. My brother was kind of my getting into tabletop games started with my brother bringing home a D&D rule book, some player's guide. I don't remember the edition, back in 1992, thereabouts, 91 or 92, and at the time the D&D stuff still had that kind of negative reputation from the moral panic about Satanism and all of that, and so my parents were really not big fans of D&D. So they basically said, no, you can't play D&D. You're not going to do that. We're going to take this book, and not going to happen. And I don't really blame them at the time. You're working with the information you had. Um, we all do silly things sometimes, but couldn't play D&D. But instead, he had a buddy who bought the BattleTech starter box and brought that home. And my brother ended up bringing the book home from that and reading through it. And after that, we were hooked. And even though we couldn't play fantasy tabletop RPGs because of all the magic and that kind of stuff, we could play giant stompy robots shooting each other with lasers and missiles and all of that. So that's how we ended up in BattleTech. So kind of credit to my parents for standing their ground and getting me into a pretty awesome game, because we then spent the next 3 decades playing BattleTech. We got one more band here, and then we will start adding some color. Pretty silly story. Parents chilled out a little bit though as time went on, though, because we did end up getting into like magic cards. We got quite a few of those old magic cards. Still kind of check the prices on them every once in a while and go, oh wow, that one's actually worth some money, and that's cool. Good times. Back when it was a very niche game and not popular like it is today. But we didn't do that too long because funds were limited, and we spent most of our extra money buying Battlenecks and BattleTech books. So, priorities. Hand is hurting. Started playing Magic for 7 older brownies. Isn't that so often the case? Like your siblings or children become your test subjects. We recently started getting warmer, tried getting hooked into it. Don't like GW art. Like recent art or like the classic art? I guess we should say. I'm being a child of the 1980s. I have a certain fondness for the old style of Games Workshop art with the kind of black and white line drawing. All of that stuff that's right up my alley. So what are you playing now if you're not into wargaming? Let's see. Warp lightning. A nice light green. Nope, that's dark green. Some sort of system for determining where. Oh, there it is. I'll bump the camera again. All yards, art direction. Pretty much magic only. Trying to get a D&D group started as well. Cool. Have you gotten into any of those like themed sets? I know Magic's been doing those. I've been somewhat curious in what those look like. I haven't had cards with, what was that one? The Walking Dead set. It seemed kind of, I don't know if it Is that something that you're into, or do you stick with kind of more of the traditional cards? Bust out my bit too far fetched for me. So you're gonna be day one getting the Warhammer Magic crossover set. So that just had to laugh a little bit. I don't know. Just not the target demo, I guess. That's alright. Not everything has to be for me. That's just weird. Yeah, well, see how it turns out, I guess. Could be awesome, who knows. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing Magic back in the day. We had a old pool table that had the felt in it, the green felt and everything. And that was our gaming table when we were down in the basement of the old house. We'd get out all the Magic cards and make a deck, and probably terrible by today's standards since we were inexperienced and didn't know any better. But it was fun. So we'll come back and hit this with a different green. Give it some more texture on the top once it dries. But for me, the contrasts are really kind of like base coats. They do a lot of work, and then you can build up on top of them and make them better. This brush is actually handling things well. I promise I won't complain about it. Have I tried Commander? No, I haven't tried Commander. In fact, I know nothing about it. I feel this format is what Magic is supposed to be about. What makes it different from regular gameplay? Is it more like themed with events or something? So the last time I paid any attention to Magic was when they were releasing those dual color cards. This was years ago. Seemed neat, and I even bought a few packs to get the kind of reds and greens because I ran red and green decks back in the day. Like, oh, now you can officially get red and green cards. That's cool. But didn't end up playing it long. then when I was running an after school gaming club, I had my cards there to play with a few of the kids who were playing Magic at the time, and one of the kids ended up stealing a bunch of cards from my box, and even though I couldn't prove it, kind of like 99% sure it was him. Anyway, that kind of pulled the wind out of my sails for Magic for a while. Like, hey, let's not do that. A certain level of trust is required in gaming. I should probably hold it under the camera if I'm going to paint it, right? Good times. I can actually show off what I'm doing. Alright, so that's kind of the green things. I almost want to do these as obsidian beads as well to match the weapon. I think that would be cool. I could see my youngest probably getting into Magic at some point here. He likes Pokemon cards, and it's kind of like a gateway to it. It's way too many Pokemon cards. You have your commander, which is any legendary creature of your choice. Decks have 100 cards. All cards must be different and the same colors as your commander. Huh. Interesting. Cards. Oh, it's interesting. That's could be a lot of fun. What if I did 2 obsidian beads and then did 2 other color beads? That would be kind of neat. Mix things up. Add some detail. We'll alternate. We'll do two black beads, and we'll do another color, maybe blue or something, to keep the multicolor thing going. Are slower paced, a lot more variety, and you can have cards that may not be necessarily optimized. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that, because I've never been a min-maxer. It's always been about having fun, doing something new. Got a couple of friends we played board games with quite a bit, back at the old place in the other town. And I didn't tend to win very often when playing with them, because I always like doing things that are non-traditional, like try to play a game in a way that, and win in a game that's not in a way that's typical. It's always been more interesting to me than figuring out the optimum way to win and then just doing that over and over again every time you play. Isn't necessarily the case for my friend there, who she is very competitive, and she likes to win. So is what that is. Right. I'm almost tempted to kind of leave those white and the black mix. I don't know what to think about that. Alright. away before I cause any more damage. Let's do the leather. That'll help things look more complete. Bump the camera again. Drink. Someday I will figure out the perfect way to place this camera over the table that doesn't involve smashing my head into it. Some sort of ceiling system that has it just hanging from the ceiling. That would maybe work. Just drill a few more holes in the joist. Why not? What could go wrong? Alright, I'm going to use a smaller brush for this because this is maximum effort. And get the ropes here. These strings on the crocodile painted brown. Contrast. Snakebite leather. Let's see how it turns out. If I need to come back in with yellow, that's alright. It's not, doesn't have to be perfect. Bump the lamp again, drink. Am I going to paint the new OPR releases? Well, I am in the Patreon, so I will get those files as they come out. I'm excited about that last set of Robot Legion units, so I'll definitely be printing those. The Beastmen look cool. I'll probably end up printing them off at some point and painting them. But yeah, I'm really happy with that that Patreon. Very much feel like I'm getting my money's worth there. Because, again, I could be painting his stuff for a very long time with all the stuff, all of the units I've downloaded and purchased using the discount code, like these guys right now. So I feel much better about paying $5 for a unit than shelling out $200 for a box set from GW for units that I already have. So I will not be partaking in the holiday boxes from GW this year. Even though that Necron box looks neat and the couple of the AOS boxes were kind of cool too, but I would rather buy resin and print what I need. But yeah, definitely get to the Beastmen. I'm gonna do the robots first, though. Giant robots take priority. I still have a ton of Vinci models I haven't touched yet, too. So that's a whole army in itself that has not yet gotten any love. Oops. Who needs Necrons when you're... Well, the price is certainly right. I'll still collect Necrons, but I don't really see the purpose. I have pretty much one of everything that's come out except the Catan Shard big guy, the dragon. So as long as I have one of it, I'm okay. I don't need multiple units again, and I'm not like a competitive player. I just play with my kid, so I don't really need 8 ranks of whatever. So I can put my money into Robot Legion and print off as many as I want at any time. Oh, I want to paint this today, so well, we'll print it. Hard to beat that kind of freedom. Companies are going to have to step up their game if they want to sell figures in boxes. What I suspect is why Games Workshop put so much energy into Warhammer Plus and kind of making themselves into a media company rather than just a miniatures company, because the miniatures market might be changing significantly here in the next 5 to 10 years, or even in just a couple of years or months. When someone can print out a resin figure that looks as good as this, how much would the GW version of these 3 Gator models be? $50? It'll cost me about, let's see, the models themselves about, what was it, like $2-3 once you take out the once you do the discount, and then probably $5 worth of resin because I scaled them up when they're solid. Well, maybe $10 by the time you factor in all the materials. 1/5 of the price is hard to beat. Nothing against Games Workshop. You're going to have to adapt and change with the times. Technology, it wouldn't be the first time that technology is significantly changed in industry and taken out a company that thought it was unstoppable. Alright, let's do the little stones. So I envision these little squares as being kind of stones. So we'll use the other contrast. Where's that gray? Stone gray, there we go. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. I've said before, I think it would be great if they kind of embraced the 3D printing and made Warhammer Plus the vehicle for that. So say you maintain your subscription and we start throwing in STL files for little bits. And you get your arm from your Primaris Lieutenant, because of course you got to have a Primaris Lieutenant thing. So you throw in the arm, 3D printable arm for a Space Marine that month, It wouldn't even have to be a full model. Oftentimes the companies that can adapt and embrace changes in technology are the ones that will survive. Those that try to dig their heels in or use bureaucracy or laws to try to shut down competition, that's generally not successful. You can't stop the advances in technology. You can uninvent the automobile, save your horse and buggy industry. Nobody likes a Luddite. Come back in later and do detail with other paints. Again, the contrast is really just kind of like a base coat, and then you work up from it. Come back in and clean up the details later. With 3D printing with Band E. Just wanted to work in miniatures. Yeah, it's really cool that I'm loving the idea that there's all of these independent creators, and the fact that things like the Patreon exist, and all of those other sites that are really embracing the individual creators. Because there's so much cool talent out there. It really is limiting if you just have one company or a handful of companies that are the only ones that where you can work and make money doing what you want to do. So creative people being able to make models that people actually want to use, and that's a cool thing. You can directly supporting an artist is amazing. Feel much better about giving $10 to an independent creator than any amount of money to a company that doesn't appreciate it, or maybe is just too big to notice. They've got their plan, they do their thing. But like being able to directly talk, you can go on Patreon and have a direct conversation with some of these artists. That's worth something. You feel like your opinion matters, and you can actually have some input, even if that's not followed. At least you get to be heard. Let's see here. I was looking for that apothecary white to do the little bells. I'm gonna sit down and organize this paint here one of these days. Yeah, it's a great time to be a hobby painter. I think just being able to have access to so many great models, and print off more. If you've got a 3D printer, print off more things than you could possibly ever print. Print off more things you can possibly ever paint. Creating a backlog, the pile of shame is gotten ridiculously huge since I got my printer. Good time to be a painter, I think. these teeth. See how many bottles you have here. Self-imposing a limit on my resin here because in fact, the printer hasn't been running in the past day. Just have piles of mechs and Sisters of Battle and Robot Legion and crocodiles and giant walkie things. No shortage of things to do. It's supposed to save money, not accelerate the decline. Alright, we need bone skeleton horde. Let's do it. Let's paint these teeth. How am I stocking resin company? Yeah. I have to set up that monthly order from Amazon so I could get the couple of bucks off. That's how bad it's getting. I told my buddies for the yearly gift exchange, if you want to make me happy, I'm going to give you a bunch of mechs. You can compensate me in more resin. So hopefully you get a couple more bottles from that. Yeah, I just remembered that was there from the stream thing that I'm using. Get it added back in. Add some bells and whistles. Pull out the old razzle dazzle. It's starting to look like a crocodile warrior here. I still have to do his teeth on the inside of his mouth, but at least making some progress. Get the base coats in, start doing highlighting and other stuff here. Eventually. How's it going, Steven? Get going here. Let's do his teeth. And do stuff on the stream that's actually interesting rather than more base coating. Tooths, some tusks. I do not want them to be too white, so I think we're going to use some necrotic flesh base coat. IKEA. Now. Did you leave anything at the IKEA, or did you clear out the store? I know our trips to IKEA were basically cram the car as full as you can. And pack the kids in like cordwood. Can I literally see an IKEA? That's one thing we don't have around here is an IKEA. You have to drive back across the state to get to one. Should probably do this on camera instead of off. So going with necrotic flesh so that the teeth aren't too white. This is an adult crocodile, not a baby. tooth care may not be a priority. We'll get a teeth base coated, and then I'll hit it with wash, and that'll make them look pretty good. Yeah, it's an experience for sure. It's always super crowded at the one we went to, so kind of had to plan your whole day around it. And going on a weekend, oof. Test your faith in humanity sometimes. Toothy grin. What is that undead looking model in the gallery? I'm not sure what one you're referencing. Big model with long orange and yellow robes. Oh, now I have to watch for it. I don't recall. Oh, I think it might be the model from that Steamforged Games board game. What was it called? I don't have any of it down here. I'd look at the box. Yeah, but it's from Steamforged Games. God tier. There you go. See, mind like a steel sieve. Yeah, so God tier was their kind of a skirmish type board game, and that model was in a set. Why do I like the sound of it? It just sounds good. Cleanliness. It's clean. Fresh. Get a fresh start. Everything about it's good. Alright. Before I wash the teeth, I want to kind of do the inside of his mouth. So we need... Actually, let's do some barbarian flesh. That's a lighter color. We've got a pink in there. We need some tongue definition. And we'll just hit the whole thing with the wash. He's got a tongue. Need a tongue. That'll do. Let's do the other ones while we have the paint out. Its mouth isn't as open. So it's kind of simple, but after it washes, it'll blur the lines a little bit. Won't be so bad. some lunch soon. To wrap this up. It's almost dry. Alright, one more thing we can do here. Oh, missed some stone work there. What are you working on today? 3-hour drive is pretty much what I did for quite a while on the move. But it is interesting the distinction between the 3-hour drive when you're actually moving, like traveling a long distance for 3 hours at a certain highway speeds, versus sitting in traffic for 3 hours because you get stuck in the daily grind. That's good. That's good. Alright, I think that tongue is just about dry. That's the whole thing with the wash here in a second. Some little things that need to be fixed. Paint tomorrow. What are you going to paint tomorrow? Build up the suspense. Oh yeah, the Battletech Lance. Yes. Do that. I have to prime the next one because every new part of that story that I'm writing, I'm gonna have new pictures from a new lance. So if you do end up watching today's uploaded story, that new lance that I painted shows up in there. Those pictures. So I want new pictures pretty much every time I do a new piece of that story. That's the plan. If it wasn't obvious. All right, I'm gonna do the inside of its mouth with Magos purple because it'll look good. Promise. There's a method to the madness. Gives it a kind of pink fleshy color. It'll work well. Promise, I promise. There are slight contours. I don't know if they're showing up on camera. There are little tiny contours in the top of his mouth that are catching the contrast paint, which is cool. Little tiny details. Thank you, 3D modeler. So that definitely helps make that mouth look more realistic. That's why we do it. Let's do the other two here, since we're already open with the bottle. Oop, that was mostly water. Yeah. Wipe the brush off before you use it. I think I'm going to head down to the hobby store after lunch here and get a couple of more things for the Hobby Vices gift exchange. I don't want to do just 3D printing and the one set of models. Kind of feels a little light, so I'll get something else. Maybe I'll get him the Battletech starter box. Didn't say he was into Battletech, but I might take the opportunity to create a new player. We'll see. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Saurian models. I ended up buying that whole army pack for with the discount. It ended up being like $20 for a whole army, including the big old dinosaur ones. So it's cool. All right, so their mouths look pretty good. Buy that for $1. All right. Well, his teeth, and then I'll call it a day here, so I can go get some lunch and get some work done. Can't play all day. Dulling down the teeth a bit with the skeleton horde. Make them look like actual crocodile teeth rather than a model. Looking good. The tongue's not done, but that's okay for a base coat, and I'll come in and blend it later. Alright, so still got some details to do, but pretty good progress for base coats. Not too shabby for an hour and 15 minutes, I think. Alright, so we will end with a little group shot. And I'll say thanks for coming out, Steven, Andre, AE. Appreciate it. Go check out some of Artist Empire's paintovers. They are awesome. Take care. Have an awesome day. I will see you next time.